Morning. Sorry, guys. Am I that late? 8 minutes? Sorry. All right. Tony Adams won't practice today. Neither will Schweitzer. Hamstring and concussion for Adams and Schweitzer. And then limited as normal, Becton and Brees. And then Zerline and Clemens, they'll show up on the injury report, but they're full participants.
Can you talk a little bit about Simeon and what made him an attractive addition?
Yeah, he's obviously got a lot of games under his belt. He's quick learner, quick study from my understanding. And, so just giving him and the ability to come onto the practice squad and help us out was the best decision for us.
What's the process like, Robert, in terms of like how long would you be able to, how long do you think it would take for him to get up to speed on the playbook?
We'll see. Every case is different, so it's case by case.
So he'll be the third this week, inactive.
Inactive.
Robert, there's obviously been a lot of noise around the team this week. I guess, how do you worry at all about that breaking into the locker room and kind of affecting these guys at all?
No, noise is noise. It's part of, it's like a double-edged sword. It's part of why this game is so great, is that there's so much attention, whether it's positive or negative. But, like I've said it before, we've got a great locker room. Locker room is, they're locked in. Is there frustration? Of course there is. Anytime you lose 2 in a row, there's going to be frustration. It's the NFL. Just when you lose, it feels like the world's caving in. When you win, everyone puts you on a pedestal. But there's still a lot of confidence in the locker room. Defense, knock on wood, obviously playing at a high level. Special teams playing at a high level, and offense has got to find a way to pick it up. And that obviously always starts at the coaching level, and then it goes all the way down, and just trying to find ways to move the ball and score points.
Robert, obviously Joe Namath had a lot to say about Zach and everybody else in the organization at this point. Have you spoken to him? What's your reaction to that, and what can you say?
Haven't spoken to Joe, but obviously Joe is an icon, Hall of Famer, and a well-respected individual in this organization. Doors always open for him to walk in, and my office is always open for him. And but we'll agree to disagree with his comments, but he is entitled to those comments.
Robert, what do you, with Aaron coming out yesterday and said the guys need to show a little more poise and grow up a little bit, how do you feel about him, not being here physically, but making, comments that garner a lot of headlines?
I've said it with Aaron. He's as much of a coach as he is a player, and he's been around youth, and he's been around adversity, and he's seen it all. And so for him to recognize that and talk through it, I think he's not wrong, in that we've, when you have frustration, it's easy to kind of look for answers when sometimes the most important answer is inward. And that's the only way you can defeat adversity, is to look inward and find ways to be your personal best. So as it pertains to what he said, he's not wrong, but at the same time, it's just a bunch of young guys showing a little bit of frustration, so they'll be all right.
Do you worry about sort of the health of that situation moving forward? And he's going to be on every Tuesday, imaginably, for the next 15 weeks, dissecting what happened on Sunday for you guys. Is that going to be an issue, you think?
No, that's not going to be an issue. I don't think it should be. I mean, he's part of this team, and he's got thoughts, and I think he does a really good job articulating those thoughts in a manner that's respectful.
Robert, you guys have acknowledged that Zach lost some confidence last year, right? That was part of the problem. The world's caving in. Right now, as a 24-year-old, I'm sure it's caving in on him almost more than anyone else in the building. How do you avoid a repeat of last year where he loses confidence?
That's a good question, Kaz. With regard to Z, we all acknowledge he has to play better. We all acknowledge that. He acknowledges that. Teammates acknowledge it. He acknowledges it himself. And but the key is to have confidence in yourself. You have to, and you got to keep continually stack good days. You go out and you own your moments. You go out to practice, you dominate practice, and you just you got to find a way to gain the momentum of practice and turn it into transfer that momentum into the game, But for him, definitely needs to get better. But at the same time, you've got to maintain your belief in yourself and your teammates and play within yourself and not try to press and make things happen. Just play within the structure of the offense, get the ball to your playmakers, and let your playmakers go to work. And as soon as that starts happening and the ball gets rolling in that regard, that's when the confidence will start to stack.
Is the hardest part of this, Robert, balancing a quarterback who is developing with a team that is very clearly ready to win now?
Well, you definitely have difficulties, right? Because it's kind of, empathetically speaking, you go into a season and it's like, hey, here, we have all these aspirations, and not that any of these aspirations are over, but you just get stunted 4 plays in, and you're trying to adjust on the fly, and you're playing 3 unbelievable defenses, and you're trying to make sure that everything is working. Everyone's learning one another still, and so yeah, there's, like I said, there's a frustration aspect to it, but at the same time, guys are working diligently to try to figure out the best way to utilize this group, and that's where we're hopefully as a coach you wish it was yesterday, but you got to continue grinding.
As a coach and also as players, how can you keep his morale up to a certain point and not spiral or snowball like he did last year?
No, for sure. You continue working, and it's no different. You're trying to find the positive and the silver lining and stuff, right? But you also got to keep it real and hold each other accountable and make sure that we understand what we need to get done, because there's no hiding behind that. There's a fine line between being blindly positive and actually having positive accountability. And so, for him, he fully recognizes what needs to get done, and we all recognize what needs to get done. And at the end of the day, there's nothing stronger than affirmation, and you get affirmation by going out and continually doing your job to the best of your ability. And once you start finding that success on game day, that's when everything snowballs into something pretty cool. But you can't get there by thinking about worst case scenarios. You've got to be a dog. You got to be aggressive. You got to be confident in your ability. You got to let that thing. You got to sling the rock and let it rip and let your playmakers do the work.
Robert, you've seen Patrick Mahomes before. Sorry to pile on here, but what kind of challenge do you got to wait in your defense on Sunday?
Patrick Mahomes, he's a special talent. Some of the throws he makes is disgusting from a defensive perspective, but they're super talented. He knows how to buy time. And the offense, they've done a really nice job since the last time we had the chance to play him back in the Super Bowl. But their O-line is really talented, much more talented than it was. The skill guys have speed. Kelsey's gotten a heck of a lot better. That back, number 10, he's an absolute dog with the ball in his hands. Very, very physical runner. And then, of course, Andy is just, sometimes I wonder if he just draws it in the dirt as the game goes on, and with some of the concepts that they got. But it's going to be a challenge for sure.
Robert, with that offensive line, I think Mahomes has only been sacked 1 time. He's been pressured at the lowest rate of his career. Just what makes that offensive line so difficult to create pressure against?
They're really good in the interior. Their interior 3. The tackles are experienced and athletic. Like I said, it's just a really good group. They're running the ball a heck of a lot better than they have in the past. I mean, back in 2019, it was, God, I hope you run the ball. Or now they can put 300 on you running the ball if they want to. They can do it both ways. So a super, super talented group. The O-line is, especially their center. I mean, he's extremely talented. And but just overall, just all the way down, I don't. There's definitely not a weakness in that offense.
Take a couple more.
And where do you see defensively? They're ranked very highly, won the Super Bowl last year, but where do you see their strength is on the defensive side?
The biggest thing, obviously, Chris Jones he's as good as anybody. Him, Quinn, and Aaron Donald, they're game wreckers. But this is year 5 for Spags. A lot of respect for Spags as a coordinator and a play caller. He's, you can tell that the group is playing at a high level, a lot of efficiency. They've been together for a while now. Their linebacking crew has gotten a heck of a lot better. They're sticky in coverage. They're very disruptive. Their blitz packages are really, really tight because they can blitz and cover. Usually, with those that type of system, you might find some holes, but they're very sticky. So, like I said, they're very in tune to their responsibility. They play very, very fast, and Spags has a really good grasp of their of his personnel, and they use it wisely.
Robert, why has it been so, we've talked about this before, Nicole, why has it been so difficult to get him on the field? I mean, with his speed, isn't that something you guys could use, especially with the offense struggling the way it's like?
Yeah, you would love to use the speed to find ways to utilize the speed, but at the same time, there's a lot of guys that we're trying to get on the field. We again, knock on wood, we got a cool group of skill guys, and whether we want to get all three of our tight ends on the field, or get two backs on the field, or get all the receivers on the field, it's some of those opportunities just haven't presented itself. We tried to get him out there early against New England. Didn't go the way we wanted to, and then the game kind of goes in a different direction. And then, but no, to try to get his speed on, Xavier Gibson, same thing. I'd like to get him more opportunities too. When he gets a ball in his hands, he's pretty special too. So there's a lot of guys that we're trying to get opportunities for.
Just going back to Zach, I mean,
Last one?
he's obviously hearing it every time he throws a pass and it's incomplete. What is the challenge in doing that? How do you think he's handled it? And in terms of after what he went through last year, what do you think he learned from that?
Well, the only advice you can give a young man like that is you've got to block it out. Have confidence in yourself. Have confidence in your teammates. Noise is noise, and trying to play your way out of the noise by creating, rather than just stay within the structure, and confidence in yourself is just going to make things worse. A lot of times offensive guys, or even defensive players in general, when they feel like they need to make a play, they actually make things worse. The play you need to make is the play that's available to you at that moment. And when you have that mindset to just be precise in your job, usually it stacks up and you can piggyback and get more production out of yourself. But for him, just block the noise, have confidence in yourself, and find a way to stack up good plays.
You mentioned Kelsey. Has he hit you up for a field pass yet?
Not this week.
Everybody, thanks, guys.
Rich,